I'm Randy Neiswonger. Welcome to this edition of Community Beat. Today I have Debi Pillarella. Deb,
hi.
How are you? Thank
Good,
you for joining
Randy.
us. Can you tell us what you do here at Community Hospital?
Yes, absolutely. Presently, I'm the Director of Bariatric Services, which we offer weight loss services for surgical and non-surgical interests. In addition, I am a nationally certified health coach and certified medical exercise specialist, which kind of wraps all of those pieces in one.
Yeah, indeed. And you know, it's actually a really good time. Being the new year, you always hear things like new year, new me, New Year's resolutions, and those type of things. And oftentimes we joke the gym is the most packed in the month of January. We all make New Year's resolutions to make ourselves healthier, but sometimes it's really hard to maintain those resolutions. Any tricks or tips that you want to give some of the folks that are looking at this and trying to figure out how to be successful with their New Year's resolution?
Thank you for asking that question, because as I was watching the media throughout the past couple of days, there's so many photos and so many advertisements for gym discounts and weight loss programs and different types of plans. So this is a great topic to discuss today. New Year's resolutions, it's interesting words, isn't it? Why is it only New Year's to make some resolutions? Personally, and within this department, we don't necessarily hang our hat on the New Year's resolution mantra. Mostly because by February, about 80% of those individuals who make a New Year's resolution don't really keep that resolution. So the question becomes why? Resolutions are great if you resolve to them. But the New Year's resolution in and of itself has almost a bad rap nowadays. You know, back in the days of the Babylonians, which is where these New Year's pledges, is what they used to be called, came from, they were very specific. We need to farm our land and get X amount of crops to the public. Nowadays, we have very vague, I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, I want to save more money, I want to get a new job, but the plan to achieve that and the actual mechanisms by which we articulate that sometimes are missing. So we set these lofty aspirations for ourselves without having a real specific plan. So to answer your question, it doesn't have to be January 1 New Year's resolution. It can be my resolve today. It could be this week. It could be this moment. It could be at lunch in this time. So setting forth a plan very specifically is a really good way to look at this thing called New Year's resolution.
I think you're right. When you talk about lifestyle changes, it's really a commitment over time, right? 1 month, 1 day doesn't create a lifestyle, evolution for us as individuals. Interestingly, though enough, one of the things that sometimes I struggle with as well is failure. So what happens if you fall off the cliff, at times? How do you get the folks that you deal with back on track to create that truly healthy lifestyle for themselves?
I love that question, Randy. I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
You're driving to work and there's some traffic to the point where it's stopped. And there's an exit to the right. And you know a back road. What do you decide to do? Sit in the traffic and fail and be late for work, or take a back road? Looking at failure and reframing it to say, it's just a side road. It's just a side step to the main artery that I'll eventually get back on. It's a mental thing. It really takes a look at how are we examining these experiences. Failure, we learn from mistakes. There are opportunities for us to grow. There are opportunities for us to say, wait, maybe that wasn't the best plan. I didn't think about this hoop that I had to jump through or this roadblock that I was going to encounter. So that's a wonderful question. And so many people, especially in our department, talk to us about, I failed. They come here. What is the first thing that happens when you go to the doctor's office? What does the medical assistant do when they check you in?
Take your information.
And where do they put you to get some?
In the waiting room.
And then you come back and they ask you to stand on a
scale. Of
course. In this department, we ask you if you'd like to stand backwards, because you don't need to know your weight. You don't need to be depressed and see how much weight you've gained because it's January. We say, would you like to stand with your back to the scale? It's important for us and for your health record, but you don't need to succumb to that feeling of failure because I've gained weight and I'm in a weight loss department. So taking a look at how you're looking at failure and looking at more as just a side road, an opportunity to reset, rethink, repurpose,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the other thing that I always like to tell myself is that, oftentimes we sit there and say, Monday I'm going to start. Monday I'm going to start. Well, why not make every day Monday, right? We get a fresh start every morning,
Absolutely.
and we can choose whether we want to be healthy or unhealthy that day. And oftentimes I choose to be healthy that day. So I think what you're saying really resonates with me, because I do think that there's many ways to get to those goals, and not one day of the year creates the opportunity that many people feel like they need to resolve to.
Right, and it's those tiny steps. I don't know if you know Professor B.J. Fogg over at Stanford. He has a book called Tiny Steps, and he wanted to be able to do 50 push-ups. And he tied a push-up to going to the bathroom, and every time he finished using the restroom, he'd go to the sink and do a push-up. And then he'd add another push-up, and eventually his 1, 2, 3 push-ups became 10, 15, and 20. And he tells that story on his TED Talks.
Wonderful.
Because it has to get peeled back to a very manageable, palatable, actionable thing that turns into a habit. Like when you get up in the morning, do you brush your teeth? Sure. To take a shower? Well, of course. Do you have to think about that? No.
Yeah.
Well, why are New Year's resolutions so difficult, going back to your question?
Yeah.
Take it today, and every day is Monday, just like you said.
Yeah,
I think the one thing I'd like to just mention is looking at that New Year's resolution as a pact with yourself. And I like to use the acronym PACT, P-A-C-T. What's your purpose? What's your why, right? Articulate that, talk to yourself, answer that question. And then A is, what's the action? What is that action that you can take, to be able to have that occur? And C, is it consistent? And then T, how you're going to track it and measure it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I like to, the one thing I would add is I like to socialize it. Tell my family, my
perfect.
friends, those type of things. So then there's a level of commitment to them and accountability to myself to ensure that I'm following the plan that I put out there into the world.
And I think all our listeners could benefit from that. Tell somebody, pick one thing.
Yeah.
Pick something small, measure it. Why are you doing it? Tell somebody.
Yeah.
That's great.
Speaking of that, I think one of the things that we really try to establish is a healthy culture here. Can you talk about some of the initiatives that we have internally here at the hospital that helps create that healthy culture?
Absolutely. That I like the way you say that too, because we don't just talk about it. We talk the talk, walk the talk, and live that lifestyle here as a cultural entity. We have a wonderful wellness program for all of our employees where they can actually be rewarded. And again, who isn't enticed by a reward? Gift cards, different types of other types of incentives. That is so valuable for an employee. How wonderful is it to work for a corporation that not only pays you and remunerates your services, but cares about you as a person and to be healthier and having a higher quality of your life as you work.
Yeah, and it's very simple things too. It's just tracking steps and doing some healthy initiatives with blood monitoring, blood pressure monitoring, and those type of things.
Absolutely. Some challenges like eating from the rainbow, checking how many green, orange, yellow, red, different types of food you eat. Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun. And one of the things that I'm still waiting for is my first card. I started later in the year, so I didn't get a chance to get it, but I'm hoping that I get to achieve that threshold to get my first card.
Get your first gift card.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you. Well, Deb, I appreciate your time today, and I appreciate the insight that you shared with me and the folks that are watching this video, and I wish you a very happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Thank you, Randy.